begin.
All right, Gianni. Been a crazy month in the stock market. You wanted to talk about GameStop stock jumping wildly, $4 a share to $400. Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans?
This is some truth. A very interesting thing happened this past week, in the stock market and the economy. So, a group of amateur investors and gamers, got together on a forum called Reddit. It's a site. They took on the Wall Street pros. So, if you haven't heard this story, then I'll break it down for you guys really quick.
Sure.
So this is like a David and Goliath moment, right? Because the small guys, we have, like I said, they're gamers, they're amateur investors. They drove up stock prices to score profits for themselves. And at the same time, they forced the establishment investors, the Wall Street guys, giants, to abandon um, bets against struggling companies such as GameStop and I think it was AMC
AMC movie
and
theaters, yep.
like yeah, like Macy's and like these places that are kind of like dying out a little bit. The giants are mostly the hedge funds or the Wall Street guys that we call them, who are shortening. Yeah, they're shortening the stocks. In other words, they're big shot investors placing bets that those shares will crash. So it's important. The reason why it's an important time in history is because for once, with the power of social media and power in numbers, these little guys were able to come together and um, overthrow this, not overthrow, but like trip up the stock. So they kind of did something called a short squeeze. If you guys are familiar with stocks and bonds and stuff, I'm not.
Mhm.
I'm not. But I just thought it was very interesting. Yeah, I just thought it was a very interesting story because it's like, I mean, some people who know about the economy are saying that it's silly for people to try to stick it to the man, but it's not really. I don't see it as that. I think, or they're saying this is like a get rich quick kind of thing for people,
Mhm.
but I don't see it as that. I think it's kind of like the smaller people trying to take back some power
Mhm.
and see who is really in charge of the stock market and the and investing. So my question, now that there has been a lot revealed in who and how the stock market is being manipulated, do you think it's wrong morally for the amateur stock traders and gamers to play this game, to have done what they did and trip up the system, so to speak?
Oh,
Yeah,
you mind if I jump in?
I
Um,
know. Go
all
ahead,
right.
Nino.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I'm curious, how many of you guys know what how short sales work exactly? Okay. Okay. All right. Let me try to explain it real quick so everybody, because I'm sure our audience has no idea too. But
Yeah.
okay. So basically, experts put out this report predicting if a company will stumble or if they'll fail entirely. And a short seller makes a profit off the stocks doing badly. So let me give you an example. So let's say Lizzie loves posh cycling and fitness, right? 2 years ago, she buys 100 shares of posh stock. The pandemic hits and the fitness studios are forced to close down. And I'm one of those smart short sellers who say, hey, the pandemic's here. And so Posh stock is going to drop, right? No question, because they're closed, right? And Lizzie is like, nope, I'm not going to sell my stocks because I'm in it for the long haul. I like my Posh stock. So what happens is I say to Lizzie, I say, okay, no problem. Tell you what, I'll take, I'll let me borrow your shares, right, for the time being, and I'll give them back to you in maybe 30 days, right? Now I'll sell it for $10 a share now, right? I borrow your shares and I sell them for 100 shares, and next month I'll back and return the 100 shares, right? And you're like, fine, Lizzie's fine. Hey, I don't lose anything. I get my 100 shares back after we're done. So I sell her shares for $10 a share, 100 shares. I've got $1,000 in the bank, right? Now, a month later, just as expected, because it's a pandemic, it drops to $5 a share, right? Now, I buy back the $100 shares, the $100, right? I have $1,000 in the bank. I buy it back. It only cost me $500 to buy it back. And instead of $1,000, now, I buy for 500. And boom, Lizzie has her 100 shares. Like nothing happened. I made $500 profit doing that, right?
Mhm.
Um, Well, but, somebody's losing money somewhere along the lines because they put out these reports telling people don't buy this, and they drive the price of the stock down. So, if can you imagine if I try to do that? I buy those shares, I use those shares, I buy them at $100, at $10 a share, I have $1,000. What if the price goes up instead of down?
Ah, I
Let's
see.
say it
I
goes up,
see.
instead of going down to $5 a share, it goes up to $50 a share.
I
So
see.
I have to buy those stock back at $50 a share because I have to give Lizzie or 100 shares back of Posh stock. So now it's going to cost me $5,000. I only had $1,000 sitting in the bank, so I've lost $4,000. Now, just imagine if it's like millions of shares, millions of shares, and of course the GameStop stock went from $4 a share to $400 a share. So that's like billions
Wow.
of dollars lost to all these short sellers who were trying to, drive the markets down and drive the markets down.
Wow.
These people on Reddit drove the market up. They were like, go
Oh,
buy this, go buy it, go buy it, and go buy it. And so people started buying and they drove the price up. All these short sellers lost money. Now, the problem that ended up happening is and the reason Congress is involved is because all of the brokerage firms halted sale of those stocks,
yep.
right? They're not supposed to be able to do that. They did that to protect those short sellers. But
Yep.
if an
Which,
investor's driving the sales up, that doesn't matter. That's not illegal. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
well,
Right.
you do a short sale at a risk, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
on you. So yeah, I mean, and I just now that you explained it a little bit further,
Hmm.
I actually did a short sale back when I worked for Sports Illustrated, and it was still under the Time Warner um, umbrella. And that's a long story, but Time Warner before it became Time Inc., before it became Meredith, and now whatever the hell it is. But back when it was still under Time Warner, and we kind of knew something was happening, that Time Warner was going to sell us off. No, I'm sorry. Take it back. But right before Time Warner merged with AOL, which was like the death of the company, if
Hmm.
you will.
Yep.
A lot of us sold because as soon as Time Warner did that merge, like the stocks plummeted
Hmm.
within, like it was ridiculous. We're talking about stocks that were, I think at the highest point, like maybe 150, 160 per share. And then it got down to like dollars,
Hmm.
like dollars under $10. So
Hmm.
yeah, I did a short sale back then and then was able to reinvest or whatever. But that was my risk.
Yep.
Because if I had done the short sale and then it had skyrocketed because AOL became popular all of a sudden, and like you said, went up to $400 per share, that's on me.
Yep.
So why, why is Wall Street trying to penalize
Hmm. Because
folks?
they could have
Um,
actually driven the sale up. They could have driven the price up even further, but because they halted the price, they halted the sale, it
They didn't
stopped.
get
It
a
slowed
chance.
down the momentum. So it actually
Yep.
GameStop stock retreated after they did that about 40%. But they were driving it way up, which was great for the amateur investors, but
Yeah, they
horrible
were
for short
cashing.
sellers. But who cares about the short? They've got money. These
They've
but
hedge
been
this
getting
funds.
money for years.
This further goes to show how Wall Street is always involved in some BS.
Yeah.
Remember Occupy Wall Street from several years ago? This is the exact thing that movement was talking about, that a lot of what's going on with Wall Street is not authentic because they are biased towards the 1%.
Yes.
And
Of
so
course. Yeah.
Props to Reddit, which was co-founded by my girl Serena Williams' husband, um, Alexis
Oh wow.
Ohanian, but but props to Reddit for driving the stocks up, giving people the opportunity to get some coins,
Yeah.
and then how dare you Wall Street getting upset trying to protect
Protect.
your 1% and saying no, okay, we're gonna make it not available anymore.
Yep.
And I didn't even know
Yeah.
because again I'm not
Yeah.
really involved in stocks at all. It's kind of like a foreign language to me, and I'm really good at foreign languages, but not this. And so I saw so many people on social media, so many friends, calling this out, and I'm like, what? Because I don't have GameStop stock,
Yeah. I
but I had
wish.
to look it up. I was like, what is going on? Okay, all right,
Wish I had made
all
that
right.
investment. I
Yeah.
had no idea. I saw some people on TikTok said, I saw it. I saw it on Reddit. I invested. Damn it.
I know. What?
All right,
Why
Robbie,
am
what
I
do you
not
think?
So to Johnny's question, is it ethically wrong? No, these people were using the system as it's designed, but they were communicating at a very hyper organized level. And like
Yeah.
Liz was saying, the people who were being penalized were the short sellers. So the people at Wall Street who are typically making the money off of our losses. And when I say our, I mean the little people, the little guys, the small investors. So I don't believe that it's ethically wrong for them to use the system the way that it's designed. Do I think the stock market itself, in its current inception, is ethical? No, it's a very corrupt and biased system that does favor the 1%. It really is awful. So the biggest, the crux of it is that the professional investors essentially told the online community that the stock would never stay at that initial bump, that it would
Yep.
drop back down to its depreciated value, and you don't need to invest here. So the online community, the investors, and let's face it, a lot of these investors were old school gamers, because who else is going to invest in these gaming companies? That's it. They're niche
Right.
markets.
Right.
So you told a group of hyper organized nerds that their stock was never going to go above a certain threshold. Well, there's an algorithm to it. And Wall Street clearly underestimated a generation raised on highly coordinated Friday night World of Warcraft raids. The
World
amount
of
of
Warcraft.
work that goes into coordinating just a small
Yeah.
cadre into these events, the timing of it, and now to just use social media platforms to leverage that level of expertise,
Crazy. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
hacked it, and they hacked it well.
They won. They did. They did a great job, and it was completely legal what they did. All they did was word of mouth and say, "Hey, go buy this stuff." That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's it.
what. That's why they're being. That's why the other companies. I think it's the companies are like Robinhood. I think E Trade and a bunch of others
Yes.
halted
I think
sale of those shares so that
I
they
think
could
Yes.
stop
Close
it.
down the app.
I think
Robinhood was the
Robin Hood,
main one, right? They're the ones
yeah.
who really getting
Mhm.
hit. Shannon, what are your thoughts? You have like a few seconds. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think that this was something big, with whether we realize it or not, because I think people are starting to maybe see, okay, we kind of have the power. I don't, without sounding like a hippie, like it's just kind of like we have the power, and I think that it, I
Nothing
think
wrong
that
with
it's going
hippies.
to bring in an
No
air.
offense to hippies. No offense to
They get a
hippies.
bad rep. But no, I think that it's gonna kind of usher in a cryptocurrency. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about
Like Bitcoin.
not like a cryptocurrency or a Bitcoin type of economy for like that we're going to be bringing in. So I don't know. I think that overall it was nothing wrong with it. It's not anything morally wrong. They just played the game better
And they
and
played it like a
smarter.
game, which
Mhm.
Yeah,
which was smart.
agreed.
They did it. It was excellent. I mean, I want to get in on it. I
Yeah.
want to see. I want to see what the next one is. I think BlackBerry is supposed to be one of the next. BlackBerry and Nokia are supposed to be a couple of the next ones that they're going to start driving up.
I might
I
I
mean,
might look
you know,
into that.
once the TLS show goes public, you guys can buy TLS stock
That's right.
and drive it up.
We'll
Yeah.
show you how to short sale it and drive it up. We'll do both.
Let's go. Let's
We'll start
go.
Exactly.
doing education on that. All right, let me get to some of these comments online. Uh, Darry Winter says, thanks for the explanation. Robinhood, Mike Winter says, Robinhood doesn't charge for each transaction, so it's very popular with small investors, right? That's the reason it's
Yeah,
so
it is.
popular.
It is popular.
But it's just a shame that they were protecting their big investors.
I know.
Um, so Mike Wolf says short sales allow you to make money if a stock drops, but it's much riskier than betting on a company to do well. If you're hoping a stock will do well, you only stand to lose what you spend on the share. With
Mike,
short selling, there's no limit to your risk. You could lose billions.
Mike Wolf, did you do a short sale after that Time Warner AOL merger? Mike Wolf is one of my old, peeps from back in the day
Yeah.
at Sports Illustrated. So I'm curious if he
Oh,
did a short.
yeah, that would be interesting to know.
If Mike Winter says short sales are an important part of this. Um,
I think even Elon Musk commented on this whole thing. I'm not sure what he said, that's why I haven't said anything, but I
What's
think
the
he
going
has
rate
you
for
very
Tesla
close.
stock? What's the going rate for Tesla stock? Can I afford it?
Good idea. I mean, good. I know.
Oh.
Let me see.
Robbie, it looks like Robbie's gonna Google it real quick.
Yeah.
I see it in his eyes. What's the go?
$793.
$793.53.
No,
You
that
can
will
afford
be
it.
no. That will be purse money, and I ain't giving that.
There's apps out there where you can buy a percentage of a stock.
Yeah,
Mm.
like yeah.
You can buy 1% of like Tesla stock. You can do that. You can afford that. All right.
But
All
Elon Musk made billions.
All right. Let's move on to the next hot topic. Good topic, Gianni. Thank you.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.